you mentioned a very interesting point, saying that the engine of the vehicle pretty much decides the application it is going to be deployed for. Over and above what the OE offers to you in the form of a chassis, do you need to customize the OE offerings, or do you build around it?
Well, as I said, many times we have to customize with OEs also. Mainly, we have to tamper a couple of times. We have to tamper the ECUs. We have to take the connection from the ECUs of the engine. We take the OE into confidence, and then mainly then because we have limitations of OEs. So we cannot at one point of time they are not able to stretch their standards. So then we have to build across our system as per OE standards.
Right. You also mentioned with great pride that you were proud about building indigenous products, be it your pumps or be it the power takeoff systems. Tell us a little about that. How do you ensure that indigenous set of quality components are designed and manufactured in-house for these special application vehicles?
Yes, as I said, this industry is basically dominated by Europeans. We have standards way back, like when Britishers were there, that whatever standard they have right now, with the same standard being followed right now in India. But then we studied a lot about the European market, European vehicles, and thought that we should also have similar standards for sewer industry in India. For which we set up a strong R&D department to understand exactly what is the need. Earlier, the concept in India was cleaning of septic tanks. So later on, the standards were developed by the Britishers or the Europeans to clean the septic tanks, where you just have to go clean the septic tank. But over the period, the septic tanks get abolished and the sewer line came into the action. But for sewer line, you have to have a different technology altogether. You need to have a bigger vacuum pumps, you need to have a bigger high pressure pumps. The entire system changes. So initially, still the majority of the pumps in India are being imported from Europe, but not in our case, but other cases. But then we thought, these are the major components, and why to send currency, so much of money into other country. So that was our main issue. So we thought, let's manufacture our own pumps, our own systems, and we started getting into it, and now we have our own or whatever component required for producing recyclers is manufactured by us.
Right. So the OE has his own benchmark price points.
Yeah.
You are modifying that vehicle, you are providing auxiliary components, you are converting it into a special application vehicle with certain amount of modifications and man-hours put at your end, you are providing the set of components. So there would be a certain amount of effort to keep the overall costs under check, despite making such a drastic modification and building around the procured vehicle.
So, the cost here is not an issue at all, because see, the vehicle cost itself is, we would say, about 25% of our cost, our bodybuilding cost, so complete superstructure cost. So we really don't see the cost is a problem, because ultimately the end user is the municipalities, and for municipalities it is much cheaper to use the vehicle than to make the work with the manual labors. So this is how it works in the industry.
Right. Now, since you provide to and cater to a lot of these civic administrations across the country, could you give us a sense of how the civic administrations themselves are evolving in terms of adoption of these next generation vehicles? Is there a higher reception now than compared to, say, half a decade back?
Certainly, yes. We started first in, I think, 2009-10 in the city of Mumbai. We just supplied with 2 vehicles. And then now, right from Delhi to Chennai, almost all the major cities we have deployed our vehicles, and slowly, the 2-tier city is also getting into it. Now everyone knows about the right system for the sewer cleaning industry, and I'm sure down the line, in coming couple of years, due to the Clean India initiative, I'm sure all the cities will adopt this technology.
Right. A little on the advancement made in the recycling type desilting systems that you specialize in.
Okay, so water is the main media to clean the sewer lines. So you need as much as water you can, and then so that you can clean the effective cleaning of sewer lines. So earlier, what used to have that the truck has a limitation of payload. So one is normally the configuration was 4,000 liters of sludge capacity and 4,000 liters of water capacity. So once the water is finished within after doing the jetting, high pressure jetting, normally again you have to go back to refilling stations and come back and go back and come back. So you have a lot of time saving. Time was consumed, and then again diesel, and then so now what we developed is, and of course the potable water used to be water scarcity in major part of the country is still there. So what we developed is we suck the sewer from the drainage, we filter it into the tank itself, and then again that same water is being used for high pressure flushing. So there we save huge amount of potable water, traveling time, and the productivity has increased at least 6 to 7 times, so which is a proven formula we have.
Right. Now, out of say fire rescue, then you have the liquid waste cleaning vehicles, you have the emergency response vehicles. In each of these segments, would you be able to tell us a tipping point, at least in your observation, when did this segment undergo a massive shift towards next gen technologies according to you?
See now, if you see the market sector, we have about 30%, about 30-35 is into servicing. We provide services, 35 into manufacturing, 35% of fire and rescue, and 35% of liquid waste handling. So the technology, we started in manufacturing these vehicles in 2000, predominantly like 13. So we started with basic vehicles, and then now like 2016-17, we started getting into the real technology, and now you can see what type of vehicle we make.
Right. In the overall revenue pie and the overall business scheme of things, how do you compare your domestic exposure vis-a-vis the export exposure?
Domestic exposure is of course at present more than the export, but of course yes, we were waiting for the right opportunity to introduce our vehicle in Western countries, which we already did. This is my 4th vehicle going to US, export. We already supplied one vehicle to Czech Republic and one to Belgium. But now everybody wants to see the vehicle running there, and now we are starting huge amount of inquiries, and couple of them are very close to getting closed. So now the equation will definitely change.
Right. How does it feel to crack the quality benchmarks, which are typically very, very stringent with diverse markets like North America on one hand and the European markets on the other hand?
Yeah, that's a very, very interesting point. As everyone knows that Europe and America has the highest standard of quality. So I'm happy to say that we have cracked their market. We have sold vehicles in Belgium, we have sold in Czech Republic at par with Germans, and same with America. So what I feel is many of the Indian manufacturers are not thinking big to go all out. I think if you decide that why can't we go into their market, because they are coming into our market, we have the knowledge, we have the manpower, we have everything here. So why can't we do that? So we decided to let's get into it. So first we participate to exhibitions, and then nobody gave us any response because everybody wants Europeans. But then I met we met person to person. I explained them, look, why don't you come to see us? So whoever came to see our plant, they could see the difference between what they don't see any difference in manufacturing of Europeans and American Indians. So we are following completely European standards, SOPs, processes, and of course the finish, which is very important. And I think if everyone start following this, it's good to go. We can enter into any market.
Right.